Is coffee grinding and portioning. First, here's the coffee container, and it's got a seal on the lid. And most people say, well, hey, there's a big hole at the bottom to the grinder. But on this machine there isn't. There's a hatch to the grinder. Now, it's never airtight, but it's a pretty good seal. And there's a little hatch inside there that drops down and opens and lets beans in, then closes. I'm just going to try and show you the little hatch inside the machine. Full of coffee at the moment, but here it is, and it's like a little piece that slides open for a timed for a specified time to take a specific portion of beans in. Very, very clever. Now, this hatch opens for a different amount and duration depending on whether you selected very strong or medium or weak. You've got 5 strength settings, and that actually dictates how much of a portion of beans is taken into the machine, and that's very, very clever. Very clever indeed. Most bean to cup machines, in fact all I've ever seen, do the portioning of beans by grinding time. So what they'll do, they'll grind for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, rather than take a portion of beans. That in itself is slightly problematic. If you've got a big weight of beans in the hopper, it'll grind faster and finer than with a small weight of beans in the hopper. The amount of beans you've got actually affects the amount it grinds, the speed it grinds. This is true of all commercial prosumer home grinders for all the prosumer machines that I use, and will be true for the grinders in bean to cup machines. By portioning, Melitta then take away the changing weight equation. That doesn't matter because they're always taking a portion of beans. Then the hatch closes, closes up, and that portion of beans is what we call ground through. Now, it's fully ground out. This is critically important. These are conical grinders in these machines. But even flatbird grinders, it's the same. If you don't grind everything out, the next time you do a shot, if it's on a timed grind basis without this portioning system, then what's going to happen is old beans from the previous grind that have been broken up, partially ground, still in the grind, are going to come through with your coffee. Now, as your ground coffee portion might be 10, 11, 12 grams, having a gram or two of that, and it can easily be that much, coming through, is like 20% of your coffee drink is stale, partially ground beans, because once you break up a bean for grinding, it stales really, really fast. This system here takes a portion of beans of a different size depending on strength, and it grinds it through, grinds everything out of the grinder, grinds till there's nothing left. So the next shot you get is entirely fresh beans again. It's the only machine, the Melitta Varianza and its brethren are the only machines I've seen that do that. The rest of the machines, you can actually see the grinder blades in the bottom of the hopper or the grinder auger, and you just know that it's not taking a portion and all that old grind is going in. I even had that verified by someone taking a machine apart and photographing what was in the grinder for me. Now, you've got something else here which is called a different bean function. I don't know what it's called. What is it called? My Bean Select. There you go. When you take this off, a little sensor notes that you've taken it off. If you don't do anything and you just put it back, and after a few seconds it says, well, okay, you changed your mind. But if you've got, something nice in the hopper, and you want to have a Monsoon Malabar or a decaf before bedtime, which is what I use it for, scoop up, put the beans in here, tip them in there, and when you put it back, it knows and it won't open the door hatch to the main hopper. It'll only take the beans from there and grind you just decaf. And of course, because it's ground out completely, it means all you do get in your coffee is decaf, maybe for that late night drink, or if you just want to offer someone a different coffee. It's a really handy feature. The only thing you can't do with it, you're meant to fill this completely. That'll get you a full strength coffee. You could you'll learn maybe to fill it not quite to the top if you want a slightly milder coffee. Yeah, but what a fantastic system. The other thing with the beans, it's best to use beans that are not oily. Oily beans, well, at first they don't taste nice anyway. And if they're oily, it's a sign normally they've been over roasted or roasted too quickly. If they're not that dark but quite oily, they've been roasted too fast. I know this because you probably see my roaster in the background there. I roast coffee myself. Try and get beans that aren't oily, don't leave deposits there, work better in bean to cut machines, and taste better anyway. The last thing is keep the hopper topped up, because what will happen if the hopper's not full and you get 5 grams ground also out of beans, and annoyingly when you continue it can't top up the brew mechanism anymore, it just has to discard that, and I hate wasting beans. So if you see it getting a bit low, just top it up. Everything works better when it's full anyway.